As you know, Preschool in a Box is the one thing I wished I had when I started my preschool. It will help you get your preschool started quick and easy without wasting time or money doing the wrong things in the wrong order. Now, as a member of Preschool All-Stars, you can get your Preschool in a Box for 50% off. Here's a sample for you to enjoy. In today's sample of Preschool in a Box, you're going to see the behind the scenes of how marketing actually works. How do we attract people that are perfect for our offers or our preschool program? How do we repel those who aren't perfect for our program? How do we write copy for our flyers, for our ads, for our social media posts? How do we make it engaging, right? How do we help more people see it? How do we convert the people who actually see it into people who sign up for our preschool? It's something we call direct response marketing, and you're going to get a glimpse into it in this video. Hey, guess what, guys? We are going to have an awesome discussion today. The number one reason your marketing fails. Okay, so I was just on a call with my inner circle, and holy cow, Kristen asked the best question ever. She's like, all right, so I've got the marketing pretty much down, but like I want to take it to the next level. I want to ramp up my efforts. I want to have full classes. What do I need to do to be able to do that? And I'm thinking like all the things that I've taught, all the different tactics, all the different like, oh, do this and then do this with your Facebook and do this with your groups and do this with your flyers and do this and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I kept thinking of all these different things that I was going to tell her. And then I was like, hold up. Everything that I was going to tell her was all tactics, right? It was all the thing that you should do. But then I realized, whoa, wait a second. I have not talked about all the reasons behind the marketing that go into the strategy of the psychology and helping people to go from, cold traffic to hot traffic that will buy, or that they know, like, and trust you, or that they actually feel like you understand them, right? Like all the actual strategy and the psychology behind marketing. So I realized, okay, hold up. I've got to do a huge training on this, okay? So I put together this training. It's called The Number One Reason Your Marketing Fails. And the reason why it's going to fail is because you are focusing on the tactics, not the strategy, okay? So if you're like, okay, well, what ads should I run? What post should I write? What flyer should I send out? What should I say when people do XYZ, right? That's all tactics, guys. That is all the thing to do. Actually, what we need to do before we even get to the tactics is we have to back up and focus on the strategy, the psychology, the thing that gets the people to move, okay? If we don't focus on that, and if we don't go old school and talk old school direct response marketing, guys, we're gonna lose right out of the gate. And so for you guys, you are in for a treat. This is a almost midnight recording, and for those of you on live, you guys rock. You are in for a treat. This is gonna go inside of our marketing area, but let me say hello to everybody really quick. Nikita, good to see you. Paula, Jacia, Crystal, Annie, Denise, Kathleen, good to see everybody, guys. Remember, hashtag live, hashtag replay, so we can get this out to as many people as possible. Holy cow, we're gonna go deep. So get some pen and paper. Of course, this video will be on here, but this is gonna spur ideas that you have that you are currently at this wall in your own head of why isn't this working, right? So for right now, forget the tactics. Literally, I mean, I might mention a couple little things here, but I am not going to go into major tactics. I'm going to go into the what goes on in somebody's mind to help them from a marketing perspective, how we as marketers, because you are now a marketer. If you are a business owner, you are also a marketer. How we as marketers help the random person to go from, oh, I don't know who this person is or what are they offering, to, oh, I kind of know who this person is, to oh my gosh, they have my solution, I'm going to buy from them. And this is a thing that we have to take everybody through. But there is major psychology going on in this process. and we're gonna talk about it today. So, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay, Paula's like another sleepless night. I'm so sorry. But I realized like all I do is talk about tactics. And then when I started talking to Kristen about all this stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, I forget that I know all of this, right? Like, I have learned this over 10 years and especially over the last year with my own mentor and like going deep into the psychology of all this stuff. So let's jump into it. We are going to focus on the strategy behind the tactics because if you can master the strategy, guys, guess what? It doesn't matter what tactic you use, you're going to win. Isn't that cool? It doesn't matter if you're doing organic traffic, normal Facebook posts, Instagram posts, Google SEO, like YouTube, like it doesn't matter what you do, flyers, just talking to somebody. If you know the strategy behind it, you're gonna win. So yes, let's get to it. And of course, later you're gonna learn all about the actual tactics in very specific things like, oh, do this straight in your face flyer method, or do the 101 marketing strategies, or do the, let's see what else we got. Do the referral contest. Like those are tactics, guys. Those are just things you can do, but let's focus on strategy. So let's get into it. All right, you guys ready for this? Post in the comments. I went live because I wanted to make sure I had the energy to go behind this, and I'm super excited to share it with you. Okay, also, you guys have to post questions as I'm teaching this when you're stuck, when you don't understand what I'm saying, so I can help clarify for everybody. So make sure this is an active video and post your questions as you go along so I can help you. Okay, so here we go. Number one thing you have to do first is you have to know your target market better than they know themselves. Okay, so let me talk about that a little bit. We've talked about the target market being like, oh, there's 3 different target markets, like you've got your people who know value, know options, know money. That's actually not what I'm talking about here. What I am actually talking about, let me give you an example from our own, I'll be talking about our business a lot and helping you guys to relate that to your own preschools and your own, as you try to find people, right? But I'm actually going to give a couple examples from the group, if that's okay. I really appreciate everybody being super willing to let me share your example. So hopefully you guys are cool with it. Okay, number one, when you're trying to figure out your target market, like there are people who are your target market and then there's people who aren't, right? So knowing like who can I avoid and then who do I actually want to serve. So let's come back to knowing who you want to serve and who they are. As I was going through this, like 10 11 years, right, of teaching everybody, I learned real fast who I don't want to serve. Okay, but I learned who are people who are super, they're already very skilled, but they are willing to learn, right, during this whole process. So for instance, my target market are people, here's my entire list of my target market that I teach or that I try to find, right? Stay-at-home moms, okay, that, like entrepreneurs or want to create that extra income, or they want to stay home with their kids. School teachers, like public school teachers, we have a ton of you here. Head Start teachers, that's a big one too. Daycare owners who are sick of daycare, okay? And I'll clarify that in a second. ESL teachers, right? Where are you at? Where are you at in the house? Like, teachers who are, women who are teaching English as a second language over to people in China and other areas. MLM people, right? Like you tried Pampered Chef, you tried Scentsy, you tried like all these different things. It didn't work out. You want a real business, right? Like, okay, so these are people who I attract to me because number one, I understand them. But I also realize that these are people who want the same thing that I can offer them. They want to stay home with their kids, create extra income, and they love kids and they want to like share that passion for teaching and things like that and just be able to like benefit the world. So I learned early on this is who I want to surround myself with because these are positive people. And then I'm going to go down here really quick. The people I want to repel, the people I don't want to serve, are daycare owners who like daycare. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have seen my ads, but I put them back on, and I'm going to show you a couple of my ads really quick. But if you guys have seen them, And anyone who's followed me for literally 11 years, post in the comments, guys, like, don't you know for a fact exactly what I'm against? You know I'm against daycare. Like, I have never once swayed from that. Like, I'll get people all the time saying, oh, yeah, like, I want to start a daycare, or I want to create a daycare center, or I want to XYZ. And I'm like, awesome, go for it. Like, but I'm not your person, right? Like, I'm sure you'll learn from me, but I'm not your person to go help you in that endeavor. Um, like, are there a gazillion people that I could serve as daycare owners? Oh, heck yeah. Are you kidding me? But I don't want to, okay? Like, I know who I want to serve, I know who I don't want to serve, right? So when you're thinking about the people that you do or don't want to serve, that's your target market, okay? It's people who, it's like your let's see, what do we call them? Your dream customer, okay? So like, who is your dream customer? So I could change this right here and say dream customer, okay? But like, who are the people that you're like, I totally want to, they would love what I offer them. I'm going to give some examples from the group. Beth, thank you for letting me share your example. Beth posted the other day that she was in a Facebook group. She teaches sign language, and she was in a Facebook group where with people who had children who were deaf, or they were deaf, and obviously sign language was a gigantic part of their daily life, right? Like, that was the thing that they need, and they are passionate about it, like to a fault almost. If anybody even tries to get in their world, they will, like, just either they are right up there with them and like have the same passion and everything has to be perfect, and like, or you're going to get eaten alive, right? And so she went into a couple Facebook groups and pretty much got eaten alive because these people were like, who are you? Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, those were like the fanatics, okay? Now, I was like, oh, no, 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 Beth, like, that's not your crowd. Like, good job for finding that out, actually, because you found out real fast who it wasn't. You shouldn't serve. But the people who would love you, Beth, are the people who are like, we can hear, right? And therefore, we just want to learn sign language as a cool other language, right? Or we want our kids to learn this cool other language. But we're hearing, right? And so, like, because we would just love this idea of like, oh, that's awesome. I would like love for my kid to learn this other thing. It's like, we're cool with it, right? We're not like these fanatics, yeah? So I've got some people who on my group are daycare fanatics. I mean, for instance, I've got a post here. This is one of my Facebook ads, and it literally says, this is why I'm so against daycare. I'm sorry, but the word daycare literally feels like nails grating on a chalkboard to me. Okay, okay. You scroll down here and it's like, this is why I'm so against daycare, right? And I got my good friend Alicia here. First off, guys, this has been the best performing ad ever. Let me show you. 2.1 thousand reactions, 540 comments, 510 shares. If we shared it, I think we can actually see, share in a group, I think we can see how many views. Let's see. I know that I shared it earlier and it showed how many views. Hold up. Okay, I'm going to go into my other group. Give me 1 second. I'm going to find that post because it was ridiculous. It was like, I don't even know, 300,000 or something like that. Give me 1 second while this loads. Sorry, there's a lot of posts in the group. Okay, 400,000 views on this ad. Can you even imagine? Okay, why is this one ad getting so much traction, getting so many shares, so many comments, so many reactions, etc.? It's because it's controversial. And also, it's repelling the people I don't want, okay? Now, granted, you have to be a little careful because when you do stuff like this, you might get comments like, and I've pretty much deleted all the negative comments because, man, I'm paying for this ad, so therefore I'm going to remove like nasty little comments, right? But you're going to attract the people who, okay, it's so cool, it's so cool. These are comments that are perfect for this. Like, you're going to attract the people who have the same ideas as you. For instance, Wanda says, yes, I'm an early learning center, not a daycare or a babysitter. Ugh, right? Now, yes, she's daycare, but like, she's like, no, I'm an educator. So I know that she does childcare hours, right? But like, she hates that word, right? Like, she hates the word daycare. She's so thankful for the mindset for quality early learning experience. Anyways, the people who it's attracting are the people who hate daycare, okay? Maybe they even do daycare and they're so fed up with it. And so when they see this post, they're like, I hate daycare too. And like, this girl gets me. Yes, I hate all these things. The 12 long hours. I still have to cook dinner. I'm exhausted. And I'm telling the story about my sister. I don't want to change diapers. I don't want to, be bored all day, right? Right? So I'm trying to use words and thoughts that are in their head. And I want to show you something really, really quick. This is exactly what so when you know that you've hit it on the head, guys, with your messaging, your ad copy, read this. Facebook is now in my mind when I meditate and manifest. Very disturbing. Guys, I can't even tell you how many times I see posts on here about like, oh my gosh, look, Facebook was listening to our conversation last night, and then they share somebody's name or something because they tagged them. Anyways, the whole point is that when you write in a certain way that's going to attract the people you want and repel the people you don't, this is what's going to like draw people to you, okay? Beth, hey girl, I was just talking about you. So you're gonna have to go back and listen about this really quick. So let's see. Let me come back to this really quick. Okay, so when we're talking about know them better than they know themselves, do you guys notice in this ad copy, I was talking as if I was a daycare owner. Now hold up, Joy, you've never been a daycare owner. How in the world do you know all this? Well, I've listened really, really well to the people who are seeking different solutions, okay? And so as I've, over the 11 years, as I've gathered all these people around me to learn from me, I listen to their problems, to their questions, to their concerns, to their frustrations. And then I get in their head because I understand what they're going through. So I realize when people tell me all the time, the 12 long hour days, right? Like, I even had those thoughts because, of course, you guys know I was trying to figure out, should I start a daycare, right? I realized, and I talked to my sister, and so when you start hearing these phrases come over and over and over again, you want to write them down. You want to make sure you know what their pain points are, and just know them better than they know themselves. So when they read this, they're like, oh my gosh, this girl gets me. And they start building what's called the know, like, trust factor. So, for instance, I'm going to scooch this down here. Where is it? 1 second. I think it's at the end. Here we go. The know, like, and trust you. Okay? So, if somebody comes across a Facebook ad, they're like, I don't even know what this is. This is obviously an ad. And they immediately get their guard up. Unless something catches their eye and they, like, it's like their best friend talking to them, or it's like their mind talking to them. Oh my gosh, I hate daycare too. Wait a second. What is this, right? And they come up here and they start reading and they're like, well, I got the same thoughts, girl. Like, holy cow. And they start feeling like we're best friends already because I get them. Okay? So for instance, this was, I'm setting my stake in the ground. I'm saying I don't like daycare, right? And I'm saying like, I had this problem. Like, I needed to create income, but I didn't want to do a daycare, so I was going to do the opposite, right? But I had all these issues. I had so much stuff to figure out, and they're like, I did too, right? And so we feel the same. So we're drawing them closer. When we're starting to build the know, like, trust factor, okay? All of a sudden, now they see me, and they're starting to like me because I'm saying things that they also believe, and they're starting to build the trust because it's like, wait a sec, this girl, yeah, okay, so I think I've already said that. Okay, now here's another one. This one is sick of the long 12-hour days and huge class sizes at Head Start. Okay, hold up. Remember how I told you that Head Start was one of my people, right? Okay, so there's stay-at-home moms, there's school teachers, there's Head Start teachers, okay? And I'm not going to show you all my ads, but this is one for Head Start. Now, hold up, Joy, you've never been a Head Start teacher. How do you know these things? How do you know that they hate the naps? How do you know that they are frustrated about the unhappy parents, right? The assistants who never do their job, feeling like your hands are tied. How do you know all that? Well, guess what, guys? I had a ton of Head Start teachers teach in my preschool. Okay, I hired Head Start teachers. I listened to them. I learned about all of their frustrations, why they were grateful to come to my preschool. And then I realized, hold up, if they were frustrated with Head Start, I bet there's other Head Start teachers that would also like to create their own preschool. Okay? So I was listening and I was writing all these things down, or at least it was in my head, and eventually when I needed to write, it was there. And I started creating dialogues, right? Like, here's all the dialogues, the frustrations that they're feeling. Like, this is their literal thoughts. Are you guys getting this? How long have you been feeling anxious, right? Underpaid, unsure. And I've literally got phrases that people have said to me, or people that I just know that this is in their head. Okay? And then, you know, at the end I say, hey, that's why I wrote my book. Okay? So another one really quick. This one is to stay-at-home moms. You think you've only got two options, right? You could start a daycare, or you could get a job and put your kids in daycare, right? So when people see this, they're like, yeah, I did think I only had two options. Guys, again, this is a completely different ad, but this one has 1,000 reactions, 340 comments, 300 shares. Holy cow, okay? So, and then they start sharing it. Look how many shares people got here, right? It's like, hey, I'm on the same journey. Congrats, congrats, right? This is what you should do, etc. But yeah, I'm saying here, like, hey, I don't want the diapers. I only want to teach for a couple hours. But do you see that I'm entering the conversation that's going on in their mind? I'm like, hey, you think you only got two options, right? They're like, wait, I do. I actually think that, right? And this is true, though, because I mean, I know I thought it, and I know a lot of stay-at-home moms think it too, okay? And I'm entering the conversation. I'm like, I'm starting with a pain point. Are you sick of those long 12-hour days, the huge class sizes, right? But you want this? You want to just teach for a few hours, right? Okay, right? But you need a consistent income. You want to stay home with your kids, right? Hey, girl, I've been there, right? Okay, right here. This is why I'm so against daycare. And then right here, think about this. Have they ever had an experience where somebody asked them, hey, how's your daycare going, right? I mean, I have. And so when they read that, they're like, yes, and I hate it. Because I'm always like, well, my preschool's going fine, thank you, right? If they hate the word daycare, they are likely to be my kind of people, okay? All right. So let's see. Let's come back over here to our slides here. So we're teaching the strategy to know your target market better than they know themselves. So when they see an ad or any kind of your sales messaging and you're speaking as if you're in their head, now you know them better than they know themselves. You can put words to what they're feeling, okay? That's how you know them better than they know themselves. So who you want to serve, who you don't. I'm so clear on who I want to serve, right? I'm so clear I can actually target them with Facebook ads, right? Now, we're not going to talk tactics at all here, but you see where I'm saying? I literally can show these ads to daycare owners. I can show this ad to Head Start teachers. I can show this ad to moms. Like, I've got a whole group of mom groups, right? So when you get super clear on the type of person you're serving, so for instance, when Beth realized, hey, I should not be in the groups of people who are deaf, I should be in just normal mom groups that would love a service like sign language, okay? I was just talking to Kristen, and I was like, don't go into the groups where, you know, maybe they're just fanatical, because she teaches Spanish as a second, or just Spanish as a second language, I suppose, too. But, you know, don't go into the groups that are just fanatics and everything has to just be like, oh, so awesome and whatever. Like, go into the groups of like Anita had an amazing idea. Like, she's an ESL teacher, so she's like, her kid's actually learning Portuguese, right? So like, she's like, most ESL teachers probably would say, yes, I think that this is probably beneficial for my kids to learn a second language. So go find ESL groups that you can go be part of, and they would love for their kids to learn this other language, right? So be in the groups, be in the communities that are just thrilled to death that you're even offering this option of whatever it is. Don't go into the fanatical groups. You'll get chewed out. Every now and then I'll get a comment on this little daycare thread, and the reason why it is so it's shared so much is because it's so controversial, and therefore it's like it's almost asking for a fight from the people who love daycare. Okay, so you cannot win for the people who love what they're currently doing. You're not trying to win them over, guys. Like what you're trying to do is find the people who just want a different option, right? So for instance, if there's some people who just are like totally the free preschool crowd, right? I'm not trying to win them over. I realize that they will never be my customers, okay, as a preschool. I'm not trying to win over the people who will homeschool their kids, or the people who will, do a co-op preschool. Awesome, go for it, do your thing. I'm not trying to win you over. I will talk till I'm blue in the face with those guys. So you're trying to find not those people, okay? Awesome. Guys, post in the questions if you guys have any questions as I'm going along. Post in the comments. Let's see who else is here. We got Becky and Tracy and Angela and Wendy. Let's see, Crystal. Beth is on here. Love this. Denise, hello. And Brittany, good to see you. Okay, and Denise even says, when I watched the other ad, I saw a lot of this in your head. Guys, I'm not trying, and by the way, please know that as I'm doing this training, like, you guys might be like, oh, that's what Joy did to, like, to get the cell or something. Guys, I'm here to serve you, period. You know that. But the more that you can understand the psychology to help somebody to make that decision, you're blessing their life because you're helping them to get what they need. And so if you need to learn a little bit of this stuff so that you can help that decision along, that's totally fine, okay? Because we're all in it to serve, right? Yes, you know this more than anything. Okay, so we're going to identify who we don't want. Okay, we're moving on. Great. Now we're entering the conversation in their heads, yeah? Just like we saw the ads, we want, because that's the easiest place to start. If, for instance, let's say that it is lunchtime and I'm starving and I'm scrolling through Facebook, and all of a sudden I see an ad for Jimmy John's. Okay, I literally went there this week. I did not see an ad though, but let's just say I did. I would have that thought come into my head like, oh, well, yeah, I'm hungry and there's an ad. Boom, problem solved. Okay, do you see how quick of an easy jump that is? However, what if I was full and I see an ad for Jimmy John's? Do I care about that Jimmy John's? I'm like, maybe like, oh, someday, maybe someday the next week, or, nothing is urgent, okay? But if the dialogue
Wasn't that amazing? Oh, sorry I had to cut it off early, but I hope that you've enjoyed this sample training. If you want the rest of the training and you'd also like to get 50% off your Preschool in a Box, then I invite you to join Preschool All-Stars.
Hey, have you heard about Preschool in a Box? It's literally the one thing I wished I had when I started my preschool 10 years ago. It would have saved me so much time and so much money. Instead, I did the wrong things at the wrong time. Waste of time, I tell you. I can't wait to tell you all about Preschool in a Box. All the things I wished I had, like curriculum. Oh my gosh, can I even tell you how many hours I spent every single night on Pinterest and Facebook groups and the blogs and Google trying to find activities to do for lessons the next day. Or forms. What the heck was I supposed to give to my preschool families? What was I supposed to include in a policies and procedures handbook? Or marketing. How was I supposed to sign up kids? I had a preschool to fill and I had money that I needed at the end of the month, but how was I going to get that tuition, right? All of those components are inside of Preschool in a Box and a whole lot more. I want to get you Preschool in a Box. I've got an exclusive opportunity for you. When you join our Preschool All-Stars membership, not only will you be surrounded by myself and hundreds of preschool owners cheering you on during your journey, you get an exclusive discount on Preschool in a Box. I am talking out of this world. When people see it, they kind of lose their mind. They're so excited, ready to grab it right away. I can't wait to get you your exclusive discount on Preschool in a Box. Just join Preschool All-Stars, click the link in the description, or go to preschoolallstars.com. It's gonna be like Christmas.